Good evening and welcome to Tucker Carlson Tonight. Like most people, you probably haven't been watching a lot of CNN lately, but you may have heard they staged a televised town hall meeting on gun control last night. It seemed like one of those cultural moments worth being aware of, and so for educational purposes, we want to show you a short clip of what happened. Here it is. Wait, sorry, I'm so sorry. That was actually the 2 minutes hate scene from 1984, the film version of George Orwell's novel. We got the footage confused. It was easy to do. Here's the CNN version of that.
I think what you're asking about is the assault weapons ban. Yes, sir. So let me be honest with you about that one. If I believed that that law would have prevented this from happening, I would support it. But I want to explain to you why it would not.
Can you tell me right now that you will not accept a single donation from the NRA in the future? I wish the NRA lady I could have talked to, because I would ask her how she can look in the mirror, considering the fact that she has children.
Let me answer the question. You can shout me down when I'm finished, but let me answer Emma's question. He should have been barred from getting a firearm, and he should not have been able to. He should not have been able to purchase a firearm. So if I could change time and change circumstances, I would have done everything in my power to prevent that.
You just told this group of people that you are standing up for them. You're not standing up for them until you say, I want less weapons.
I want to thank Dana Lash of the NRA and also Sheriff Scott Israel for being here to listen to your questions.
Emotions were inflamed, and obviously we understand why. But yelling and nastiness don't help anyone. It's precisely in times of tragedy and distress that we need the calmest and most thoughtful voices. CNN last night brought us the opposite. They did it to make money. But they also did it for ideological reasons. That wasn't a town hall meeting, and it certainly wasn't a news event. It was an act of ritual public humiliation for anybody who disagrees with CNN's transparently clear position against gun rights. Dana Lash was there last night. She was the one you just saw being called a murderer on stage. She spoke about her experience earlier today.
Many in legacy media love mass shootings. You guys love it. Now, I'm not saying that you love the tragedy, but I am saying that you love the ratings. Crying white mothers are ratings gold to you and many in the legacy media in the back. And notice I said crying white mothers, because there are thousands of grieving black mothers in Chicago every weekend, and you don't see town halls for them, do you?
Well, she's certainly right about the deep corruption of the news media. How corrupt? Well, Colton Haab, a JROTC cadet who helped lead students to safety during the shootings in Florida last week, went to the CNN event last night, or wanted to. He says CNN producers rewrote the question he wanted to ask. CNN denies scripting anything. In other words, they're claiming that Colton Haab is a liar. Colton Haab joins us tonight. Colton, thanks for coming on.
Absolutely. Thank you guys so much for having me. And before we get into anything, I just want to make sure that everybody hasn't forgotten why we are actually here tonight. I mean, we lost 17 lives last week, and
yes,
I actually physically put 2 to rest. And to me, that was the hardest thing in the world to endure. I mean, nobody should have to go through this. So as long as we're taking the right steps to move forward from this and make sure that this doesn't happen again, I'm all for that.
Well, we certainly haven't forgotten. Thank you for reminding us yet again. And we think that the only way to make the country better and maybe put a dent in this scourge is to have a rational, thoughtful conversation about what to do next. And with that in mind, absolutely, you were planning to go to this event last night. And tell me if I'm mischaracterizing any of this. And you sent in, at the request of a CNN producer, you sent in a number of questions, statements you wanted to make, questions that you wanted to ask of the politicians on the stage. And they rewrote one of your questions? Is that right?
Yes, sir. So what had happened was 4 days ago, I had gotten contacted by a lady named Carrie Stevenson from CNN, she had asked me originally to just write a speech. It was going to be at the town hall at the BB&T Center, so I agreed. I felt like it would be the right thing to do, be able to go speak my part, as well as open eyes to a few things that I thought that could make this situation a little better. From there, 3 days ago, so the next day after that, we had gotten, I got an email back from her, and she asked for more of questions rather than a speech, which I was totally fine with. So I wrote a little less of a speech and more of questions that I wanted to ask at the town hall. The day after that, it was more of just questions. She asked for just questions that I would like to ask. So I gave her my questions, and then yesterday at about 5:15, I made contact with her, and she had asked if I just asked her one question. So what they had actually done was wrote out a question for me, because in my interview with CNN, I had talked about arming the teachers if they were willing to arm themselves in the school to carry on campus. And they had, she had taken that of what I had briefed on and actually wrote that question out for me. So I have that question here if you'd like me to ask it for you.
Well, but I just want to make sure I have this straight. So you sent them a long, in effect, essay on what you thought, but they put
Yes,
their
sir.
own words in the question, and they weren't the same as the words you had sent in. They were the producer's words?
Absolutely. They had taken what I had wrote and what I had briefed on and talked about, and they actually wrote the question for me.
But not with your words. I mean, they put their own words into your question, even after they'd asked you to send questions in. But that seems dishonest.
It definitely did, and that's kind of why I didn't go last night. Originally, I had thought that it was going to be more of my own question and my own say, and then it turned out to be more of just a script. And she had actually said that over the phone that I needed to stick to the script.
That's remarkable. What did you watch last night?
I watched a little bit of it. I kind of felt like I didn't really need to, because I knew that as soon as what had happened with me, that it was going to be more scripted and wasn't actually going to be actual questions. Then I didn't feel the need to fully watch it.
So if CNN was willing to reword your question, put their own words in your mouth, and as you said, you didn't want to go along with that, do you think they did that to other people last night?
I mean, absolutely. From what I did see, I'd seen a couple people that had asked questions before I did leave my house. And it was a little piece of paper cut out. And I know for a fact that nobody cut their own paper out and wrote their own question, especially when they were all based off the same topic. So to me, from right there, it showed that this isn't correct. Why are they all have the same size piece of paper with a short little question on it? So to
I guess
me, what's
surprising is you're not just some person off the street. You're a survivor of this shooting, and the point was to listen to you, to the survivors of the shooting. Were you surprised by the way they behaved?
I mean, honestly, it was very shocking to me, because we just went through such a horrific tragedy. For them to take that and now make such a big news cast over what they want to hear, it was very upsetting to me.
It's shocking to us too, trust me, in the actual journalism business. Colton, thank you. Thank you for telling us that. It's really interesting.
Absolutely.
I appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Godspeed.
Absolutely.